Hi there, my name is Nicole Hebert with the Moose Jaw Journey to Hope team, and this is Voices of Hope.
So my name is Nema Atsu, and my journey really started when I was really young. Growing up in a predominantly white community, being half Black and half Métis, I experienced racism from a very young age. Whether I recognized it or not, it was there and it affected me. It wasn't really those macroaggressions, straight up being called the N-word or being told that I didn't have any friends because I was Black. It was more of those microaggressions from teachers and peers and from other adults that I was around that had a negative impact on me. Not being treated the same as I saw the rest of my friends being treated, always being that token Black person in a group and never having a best friend, or being the butt of racist jokes in a room full of white friends. They would say things like, watch your things, there's a Black person here now, she might steal from you. And, I would laugh and make a joke back, in self-defense, but it really did have an effect on me. And I learned this later in life. Even though I tried so hard to be good and what others wanted, I never really felt like I belonged. And being a child, I didn't really understand what I was experiencing. I internalized it, and I thought that there was a problem with me because of who I was and not because it was the color of my skin. So this, really manifested into years and years of, low self-esteem, anxiety disorder, depression, unhealthy and abusive relationships, and substance abuse issues. And a lot of hopelessness, hopelessness that I couldn't achieve the things that I wanted to. I couldn't have the things I wanted to. I couldn't enjoy life like everybody else that I grew up with. I think the turnaround for me was, when I went to university as a mature student. I had to take some electives, and so I decided to take women's studies because a lot of my classmates were telling me how great of a course it was, and I thought it would be about feminism and fighting the patriarchy. But I ended up learning a lot about myself in this class. I had this amazing teacher, Susan Harris, who didn't let me just sit back in the class and observe like I usually did in the rest of my classes. She really made me share about my experiences and how they affected me. And she really taught me about society and how the society I grew up in affected me. She shook me and said, you're not the problem, it's society, you need to improve your self-esteem, and that really helped me. And I think my aha moment, in that class was when she had asked us to write an assignment, and I'm not really sure what that assignment was, but I ended up writing about an overt, macro-aggressive experience of racism that happened to me when I was 6 years old. And at the time, I knew what racism was, and my parents taught me that, the root of racism was ignorance. And so I just thought it was stupid and it wasn't really a big deal. But she ended up giving me an A- on the assignment, and I thought that was pretty good. But, she explained to me that she docked me marks because, what happened to me, it was a big deal. And, if I continue to act like it isn't a big deal, things are never going to change. And I learned a lot about myself in that class, and I continued to learn about myself and my goals and who I wanted to be, and just knowing that I wasn't overreacting about my experiences, and then that they really did have an impact on me. So finding hope for me really came from educating myself and having self-compassion, learning about myself and why do I do the things that I do. It wasn't about blaming anyone else or society, because I now understand, the intergenerational racism and the intergenerational trauma that racism creates. And we have a lot of work to do as a society. It's not the individuals who perpetrated racism on me. It's really the society that we grew up in that influences people to act the way that they do. So understanding who I was and what I was capable of, regardless of what other people thought, what my strengths were, what my weaknesses were, And, once I was able to, understand those experiences, I was able to overcome them and work towards being who I always wanted to be and living according to my values and my morals. So really having that self-compassion for myself was a big key to finding hope, and that's allowed me to have compassion for others. So, my experiences and things that I've been through have really, you know, given me hope and, helped me to, advance my life in the direction that I wanted it to. And, I really am happy now because I'm in a position where I can help inspire people and help them to become the people who, they're really meant to be. So I'm currently working as the branch director at the Canadian Mental Health Association in Moose Jaw. And we're a community organization that specializes in advocacy, education, and training. But our main focus is peer support. And, I believe that, mental illness affects every single person, whether it's, through themselves, a family member, a friend, or, even a coworker. And there's no mental health issue that's too big or too small to reach out for help. We understand that, recovery can be an isolating process. And sometimes family and friends can't really understand or empathize, with what we're going through. Sometimes we have to let go of friends that we've had in the past in order to, become the person that we're meant to be. And that can be very lonely at times. And, feelings of isolation and hopelessness and, feelings that, things that just aren't going to improve, can really take us back into, our old ways of coping, and just that internal struggle that we were feeling before. So, we really want to help people. And, we have a great team of peer leaders who, are trained to support people through their recovery and really walk beside them through their own unique recovery process, because we do understand that everybody is unique in their own way and their recovery process is going to be unique. So there's not really a one size fits all, approach to peer support. It's really based on the person that we're working with. And peer support is such an important contributor to recovery. And how it differs from more clinical support is that, it's a supportive relationship between people who have shared experiences in common, people who have been there, people who have worked hard to overcome their struggles and who are ready and willing to, help others overcome their struggles as well. And our peer leaders provide, emotional and social support, encouragement, and hope that recovery is possible. And we have a couple of different programs in Moose Jaw with our peer support programs. We have one-on-one peer support where participants of the program are matched up with a peer leader who has had similar experiences and who's overcome many of the similar challenges to the peer who's taking part in the program. We also have peer support groups for people to come out and socialize. We call it Come Together, for people to come together in, a non-judgmental, inclusive environment. And we offer activities like art groups, coffee nights, and, monthly check-ins where people can, talk about how they've been doing over the last month, and gain that support from others who have struggled before or who may be struggling, but who can help instill hope in them that things will get better. And not only does the program help participants with their recovery, but it helps our peer leaders as well. That sense of giving back to their community and having that valued role can do amazing things for people's lives. I know it has for me. And I know that, I really feel like, our peer support program can really help people come from, being in a place of hopelessness and moving towards a place of being hopeful. And that's what I really love about it. So I think my message of hope would really be to, get to know yourself. Things aren't always going to be the same. Things change. The only consistent thing in our life is change. And so, as much as things can change for the worse, they can change for the better. And I think it's important for us to always, believe in ourselves and believe in what we want and, to believe that things can improve and there is another side to things.